Hey guys, so this week on Witch Please, I want to show you a very romantic tarot prompt. Okay, so this tarot prompt came to me last night while I was chatting with a guy that I have become extremely infatuated with. And the fierce attraction is mutual. Oh hell, I'll just say I'm just balls to the wall mad about him. But hold on, I know there's a point to this. I haven't been awake that long. The caffeine hasn't quite kicked in yet, so my gears aren't quite moving as fast as I think they should. Yeah, so I was chatting with him last night. We were having a really romantic conversation. We were having a nice back and forth. I was asking him questions. He was asking me questions, getting to know each other better. That whole spiel. So when there was sort of a lull in the conversation, I decided to whip out my tarot deck, which I always like to keep one deck on hand. And as I was shuffling them, I asked them to send me a love note from him. And, I kept shuffling and sort of meditating on the question, and I pulled this, which I interpret as meaning he will fight for me, which is just the sort of of person I want in my life, someone willing to fight for me. I posted my tarot prompt in a couple Facebook groups, Tarot Nerds and Tarot Rebels, and it's gotten glowing results, a lot of really great feedback. People really love this tarot prompt that I created. Although some have taken it to more esoteric realms. They've asked it not of a certain individual. They haven't inquired of a love note from a certain individual, but sort of from a divine persona. It's like a goddess or a god or something. Although one woman who is in a long distance relationship with her beloved took her card not as a love note from her beloved, but sort of general advice on how to make her long distance relationship work as general advice rather than as a love note per se. But you can also use this same technique to create even sort of a love letter with multiple cards, and instead of just one, three, maybe even five cards. Perhaps with each card signifying a different part of the letter, such as the introduction, the body of the letter, the the end of the letter, the salutation, the romantic goodbyes. So I want to perform another reading, asking my cards to send me a love note from him, because I find that it works especially well when he or she is away from you and you haven't heard from them in a little bit. going to put that card back in. It's still early for me. And this technique will work with any tarot deck you have on hand. It will probably work even better, I would imagine, if you have a theme deck, such as a romantic tarot deck, or even if you're gay or lesbian, perhaps you have a gay or lesbian deck on hand that would give you some very interesting results. I happen to have a wonderful deck for gay men called the Sun Tarot by artist Chris Butler. And he is coming out with a new tarot deck. It's already out in Europe, but it's coming out in September here in the States. And I can't wait for it to arrive. It's, I think it's called the Healing Lights Tarot. It's really, really interesting looking. I'm really, really stoked and excited about it. And as you'll notice, I do shuffle overhand. It's just my preferred way because these are my divination tools. I want to care for them. I'm not one to rough handle them with a riffle shuffle. And I have noticed though, with working with the Aquarian Tarot, that it takes a little longer for a card to really present itself to me. And I love this one. Usually it's about not missing out on your spiritual gifts or your spiritual calling. But in this circumstance, I think it's saying that he misses me. And I miss him too. He said that he thinks about me all the time, which I like to hear. So that is really all for me. That's my tarot prompt. I hope you like it. I hope you use it with success. If you're out there just entering a relationship, if you've just met someone and you're madly infatuated with them, if you want to know if they're on if you're on his or her mind, use this tarot prompt. I really hope it works well for you. It's worked wonderfully well for me and others. So that's really all I have to say today, and I will let you go. But until I see you again, keep calm and witch on. In retrospect, I think it's saying, because he does live in Texas and I'm in Iowa, that he may be away from his devices, and he's waiting for me to get in touch in a way that can get through to him. So that's really a positive note in my opinion, because it's really nice to sort of have someone waiting for you once in a while, rather than someone who just forgets about you as soon as they get settled and they just move on with their life, which has happened to me more than once. It seems though that when I meet a guy and I make plans to be with them, that as soon as they get settled, I'm no longer welcome in their life. They have no more time or room for me. And God, I can't tell you how heartbreaking that is. That happened with the last guy. I was saving up money to move out to be with him in Washington State. And as soon as he got settled, he told me not to come anymore, that I wasn't really welcome out there anymore. And the irony of that situation, which just occurred to me, within the last few months, is that um, that's exactly what his ex did to him. And he's a cancer, and that's just really, really low in my opinion. Plus the fact that he knows where I live. He's been to my house. He's played with my dog. Um, he knows how lonely I am. Um, yet when he got settled, even though he knows how lonely I am, he proceeded to basically rub my face in all the wonderful adventures he was getting up to that I can literally only dream of. I would like to go to a burlesque club. I would like to go to these really amazing bars and have some fun. But I don't. I literally can't. There's not only no access to that around here, I'm also inhibited by the fact that there's no public transportation in Iowa to speak of. Um, yeah, and he didn't even have the temerity to send me any condolences when my dog was dying or when she died. He didn't. He was nowhere to be found when my dad had a stroke or when my brother was in the hospital. And characters, personalities such as that really, really disgust me because you can really tell what sort of a person someone is and how selfish they really are, based on how they behave when your life is sort of in crisis mode. And it's really been my experience that cancers, especially male cancers, are extremely self-serving and extremely self-centered. That's been my experience with them. Even though they really work like hell to make sure you're good and infatuated, and when you are, they tend to just walk off and get on with their life, and you have no part in it. And you just walk away with this huge hole in your heart, and they could care less. But I don't know what the future holds for me and this guy in Texas, but I hope it's good. I really do. I could use some sunshine in my life now and then. It's been so dark for the last 20 years. So again, um, until I see you again, keep calm and watch on.